Hello friends, in the video lecture series about chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, shortly is called as COPD. In part 1, we have seen what is COPD, how it is caused, why it is caused, pathophysiology and its associated problems, diseases and all. We have seen in part 1. In this video, we are going to see the treatment of COPD, management of COPD, all these things. So, if you didn't watch part 1, go and watch part 1, then come to this video. Then only you will understand clearly. So, let's get started. We all might have heard about a famous English proverb that is, prevention is better than cure. Am I right? This proverb is very true in case of COPD problems. This is because COPD is an irreversible disease. So hence this disease cannot be cured, unlike asthma. If you see about asthma, we can reverse the damage caused inside the lungs during asthma. For an example, the condition of asthma in a patient is in stage 4. Okay. What we can do here is we can give medications and slowly we can reduce we can reverse the damage process which caused inside the lungs due to that asthma. We can come to stage 3, stage 2, stage 1, then we can completely eradicate the disease. But COPD diseases cannot be reversed. Therefore, it is better to avoid all the possible factors which could cause COPD. But unfortunately, if someone gets COPD, then we can do only two things. One is we have to reduce the mucus inside the lumen, and then second thing we can do is we can reduce the inflammation. By doing both these things, the lungs gets airway passage clearly, so the patient will breathe normally. Let us see how can we achieve a clear air passage inside the lumens of the lungs. The first treatment will be the use of the inhaled bronchodilators. From the name itself, we can clearly understand that this medicine can be administered by inhalation process, and after inhalation, what this medicine does is this goes inside the lungs and dilates the bronchi or bronchioles, so that the air passage will be, the lumen will be little broad, so that the air will go very easily. Ultimately, the patient's breathing will be normal. Anticholinergic drugs and beta-2 sympathomimetic are the examples of bronchodilators. Then the second will be the inhalation of glucocorticoids. Glucocorticoids acts as an immune suppressive agent. So hence it will be very useful in reducing the inflammatory cells like neutrophil and macrophages. If the inflammatory cells are reduced, then we can very easily reduce the inflammation inside the lumen. This reduce in inflammation results in increase in the diameter of the lumen. So hence the air passage inside the lumen of the lungs will be good. Beclomethasone dipropionate is an example for inhaled glucocorticoids. Okay, just now we saw that we use inhaled glucocorticoids as an immune suppressive agent for reducing the inflammatory cells, so that we can prevent the inflammation of the lumen. But on the other hand, if you see, the harmful virus and bacteria in the mucus are living very peacefully in the absence of inflammatory cells. We have to eradicate them, right? So what we are doing is that we are administering prophylactic drugs. These prophylactic drugs helps us in reducing or eradicating the virus and bacteria in the mucus. And we also use mucolytic agents in order to reduce the mucus inside the lumen, which could obstruct the air passage inside the lungs. And we have to tell the patient to avoid dehydration, because dehydration results in increasing the bacteria and virus inside the body, which could trigger the COPD again. And we have also tell the patient to avoid smoke, dust, pollutions and all cause of possible irritants which could trigger the COPD. Cardio exercises are also very helpful in reducing COPD problems. Please note that cardio exercises are also known as pulmonary rehabilitation. Just imagine a patient is coming to you and complaining that he or she is having difficulty in breathing, chest tightness, chronic cough and swelling of ankles, weight loss. She is complaining all these problems what she is having. Okay, but do you tell that this problem is the symptoms of COPD? Actually not. Actually, one thing you have to understand is that the symptoms of COPD, the symptoms of heart diseases, the symptoms of asthma, the symptoms of tuberculosis are all same only. Okay, then how will you confirm that the patient is having COPD or any other problems? Firstly, we will use spirometry. Spirometry is a device which could record the velocity of the expelled air from our body. Using recording the velocity of the air, we can predict that the problem arises due to COPD. Then we use chest X-ray. From the chest X-ray, we can conclude the problem arises due to COPD or not, whether the problem is on heart or the problem is in lungs. We can confirm that using chest X-ray very easily. Sometimes we also use blood tests in order to confirm this. Okay, we have come to the end of this video lecture. Thanks for watching this video till here. I hope that after watching part 1 and part 2 of this video lecture about COPD, you are clear about what is COPD, how it is caused, all the things from A to Z. You are now clear, I think. I am not sure. If you have any doubts, you can mention in the comment section, or you can personally message me, whatever you can do. And if you want me to take any other topics, you can mention in the comment section. You can give me 2 days time. Within 2 days, I will complete a video and I will post it for you. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day.